3,000 years ago, in a valley called Elah, a boy walked toward a giant. Goliath stood over 9 feet tall, a warrior since childhood. Bronze armor, iron spear. The soldiers of an entire nation were too afraid to face him. David was a shepherd. We've told this story as a miracle for 3,000 years. The little guy beats the giant through sheer courage and divine favor. But what if we've been reading it wrong? What if David wasn't the underdog at all, and Goliath never had a chance? In this video, we're going to look at what actually happened in that valley, the weapon technology, the terrain, the psychology, and what it reveals about how underdogs really win. The Valley of Elah sits between 2 ridges in what is now southwestern Israel. It's narrow, hemmed in, and in ancient warfare, terrain like this wasn't a backdrop, it was a weapon. So for 40 days, both armies sat on their ridges, waiting, and every morning, Goliath walked into the valley and issued the same challenge. Let's talk about Goliath for a moment. A bronze helmet, a coat of mail weighing roughly 125 pounds, bronze leg armor, a javelin slung across his back, a spear with an iron tip weighing another 15 pounds, and a shield bearer walking ahead of him. This is a man built for one kind of fight. Up close, hand to hand, sword against sword, body against body. Everything about his equipment screams, "Come at me directly." Now let's talk about what David was carrying. 5 smooth stones and a sling. A sling is not a toy. It is not a child's plaything. In the ancient world, the sling was a military weapon of the highest order. Armies had entire units of trained slingers. The Romans, the Greeks, the Persians. You did not put untrained men with slings in your army, you put specialists. A trained slinger could hurl a stone the size of a baseball at roughly 35 meters per second. The kinetic energy on impact is comparable to a bullet from a modern handgun. And a lead or shaped stone aimed at an unprotected skull. Here's the moment that most people misread. King Saul offers David his own armor, his helmet, his coat of mail. And David puts it on, takes a few steps, and takes it all off. Military historian Robert Dorenwend has argued that ancient armies recognized 3 types of combat: cavalry, infantry, and projectile. And the key insight is this: each type beats one and loses to another. Heavy infantry crushes cavalry. Cavalry overwhelms projectile troops in close quarters. And projectile specialists, slingers, archers, are almost impossible for heavy infantry to reach. Goliath was heavy infantry. David was a projectile specialist. Goliath expected a sword fight. David never intended to get close enough for one. When Goliath sees David approaching without armor or a sword, he's insulted. He says, "Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks?" He thinks David is doing it wrong. He has no framework for what's about to happen. There's one more detail worth sitting with. Some medical historians have proposed that Goliath's extraordinary size, over 9 feet tall, may have been caused by a condition called acromegaly, a tumor on the pituitary gland that causes abnormal growth. Acromegaly has a side effect: it can damage vision. Specifically, it causes tunnel vision, a narrowing of the visual field. Which might explain why Goliath needed a shield bearer to guide him into the valley. Why he didn't seem to register David's approach as a threat until it was too late. Just a theory. The giant's greatest advantage, his size, may have come with a hidden cost David could exploit without even knowing it. So what does all of this actually mean? Why does it matter that David wasn't the underdog? Because the story we've been telling ourselves, the little guy can win if he just has enough heart, is only half true. And the half we leave out is the more important half. David didn't win because he was brave. He won because he refused to fight on Goliath's terms. He identified the real structure of the contest, not as it appeared, but as it actually was. and then chose a weapon that made his opponent's strength irrelevant. The mistake most underdogs make is accepting the giant's definition of the fight. Trying to match them dollar for dollar, pound for pound, feature for feature. That's how you lose. That's how you were always going to lose. David's genius wasn't courage, it was clarity. He saw the situation as it was, not as everyone else assumed it to be. 3,000 years later, we still tell this story because something in it refuses to go away. Maybe it's because most of us have stood at the edge of that valley at some point. Looked across at something that felt impossibly large. The question the story is really asking isn't, are you brave enough? It's, are you seeing this clearly? If you found this useful, there's a lot more where this came from. Like and subscribe if you're new. And if you disagree with anything in here, I genuinely want to hear it in the comments. This story has been argued about for millennia. I don't expect to settle it today.